At many sites around the country, construction has come to a screeching halt.
It's been an incredibly tough year, 2024.
There's a lot of trades out there at the moment that are fighting for the same jobs, same work going through. Everyone's in the same boat.
People are going out of business. Work is more scarce than it has been in a while.
We've certainly seen a drop off this year within inquiry.
We've been here before, and this one's quite marked. The key thing for it to come right is for interest rates to sort of stabilise or reduce.
The same message over and over again from the construction industry and related trades. Then on August the 14th,
today, the Monetary Policy Committee agreed to ease the level of monetary policy restraint in New Zealand, and that was by reducing the official cash rate to 5.25%.
3 weeks later, at a bustling extravaganza in Ellerslie featuring everything home-related, including the kitchen sinks.
Hopefully there's a bit of a glimmer of hope out there with interest rates coming down.
We have seen a drop off, but I think we're looking good for the future.
It has been a bit challenging, but overall people seem to be a lot more confident. I think give it a few more months and things will start getting a bit more positive.
Kia ora, I'm Alexia Russell, and today on The Detail, what my colleague Gwen McClure and I found when we took a trip to this year's Auckland Home Show.
There's some green shoots coming back through the economy, and that, as per usual, Kiwis love their home and they like to do new projects and improvements. So there's lots of people getting lots of ideas here.
Amanda Magnus is the General Manager of Exhibitions and Events NZ. What are the stall holders saying to you about the kind of year they've had?
Oh, bless them, it's been really tough. A lot of people have said this last 12 months they've downsized, they've found it very difficult, maintaining their income and their staffing levels. However, those lovely loyal exhibitors that are here are really excited because they know that they're going to get a whole boost to their sales income and their pipelines for the next few months.
So they must have some optimism. I mean, you were saying that that's sold out. There's no stalls left to be had.
No, I know, which is incredible in this economy. I was speaking to one of the big exhibitors here who said they had the best opening day ever. And, in the first 2 hours just doubled their first day's takings from the year before. So there's obviously people who do and are spending money on their homes and on their appliances.
Okay, let's go out into the crowds and speak to some of those people. First, Dylan O'Leary, a builder who runs Downright Construction, and his wife, Mia.
There's definitely been a slowdown period, whereas it seems like the work coming in is drastically sort of slowed down.
How long have you been a builder?
Been building for like 13 years, running a company for like 7.
Okay. So. Do you feel pretty hopeful about next year?
Yes, there's quite a few signs that it's actually starting to pick up. Like we have good relationships with a couple of architects that have said that their leads are sort of coming in a lot quicker now, which, there's a process that it eventually feeds down to us. So hopefully we start to feel that soon. Yeah.
So you guys are in the middle of doing your own project.
Yeah.
Do you think that's pretty common for builders when things slow down and you've got less work on, you kind of turn to alternative projects?
When we're not busy, we sort of throw labour at our own projects so that our guys are, keep their wages, keep paid and keep them on board. And it's, I guess it's a perk of having your own company. We're quite flexible, and in that we can drag labour here and there and make sure we're busy. And
we are just looking for products and services to help with our renovation of a relocatable home. Essentially, we've moved a house from one area, cut it in half, took off the roof and relocated it to a new section. Yeah.
Okay.
Put it back together.
Sounds like quite a big project.
It is a big project, yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
It's been probably 2 years in the process from start to where we are now, so yeah.
So it feels like in the last 2 years, things have kind of gone all over the place in terms of the economy. Has that been a process of figuring out kind of what you can afford and how to manage that?
Yes, definitely, because we initially started looking into things, interest rates were lower, which meant our lending capacity was higher and easier to get. Now that that's changed, has taken a little bit longer, and a few other conditions and processes we've had to, do to get what we need. But yeah, it's definitely made an impact, and probably part of the reason why it's taken so long, yeah.
Glenn Sullivan is planning a new build family home in the Waikato and was at the home show looking at prices and innovations.
There's definitely constraints, banking's tight, Interest rates aren't helpful. Building costs, or materials costs at least, are really high. We haven't seen any change realistically there, but kind of hearing that some of the trades costs are coming down a bit.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm hearing from people in the building sector that things have been so slow and that they've got all these deals on with supplies, but you're not really seeing that on your end.
No.
Sarah is building a minor dwelling on a piece of land she and her husband are going in on with his parents.
We're here just to have a look at what we can do for a budget.
Is the economic situation playing in on what you choose?
Oh, yeah. We're here to look. We're not here to buy. It's terrible to say. But we're looking for ideas. We just kind of want to touch and feel this stuff. And we're not going to buy from here, I don't think, no.
Harriet Pilkington is the co-owner of architectural and interior design company Young & Richards.
Well, I think it is a tough market at the moment. So I think people are looking for value, so it might be that they might not be building a new house or moving. They might be renovating their living room or something. So I think people are maybe doing maybe some smaller projects rather than bigger projects. I think value, comfort, technology is really important at the moment. Everyone's getting really interested in AI and automation in their homes, and there's developments in LED lighting, and I was just looking at a track system over here of an LED lighting, and I think technology is always changing, and that's why you come to something like a show, because the idea is you're seeing the latest products. Yeah.
And what about next year? Do you feel like things are looking like they're going to pick up?
I think there's been a little bit of a excitement with the drop in interest rates. I think there's been some developers coming out of the woodwork now who are not in a position where they're borrowing, and they've been waiting for the market to reach the rock bottom, and they're getting ready because they know that if they start doing the planning stages of a project now, they'll be ready to sell in a few years' time. And that's been our experience, which is great. So we're feeling positive, but it's I think you've really got to be out there making relationships and working a lot harder than maybe in the past. But with these kinds of challenges, there's opportunities. So we're really banding together with our team of suppliers and working together to partner. So there's some nice aspects that come out of it.
Is there a cycle of boom bust?
Totally. We started our business basically the business Young & Richards. We started it 17 years ago in the middle of the GFC basically, and we ended up teaching at university alongside to keep our staff going, and so we do. But there's challenges, at the moment. But it's great. It's great to be here and to see the excitement. There's lots of people here today.
It's been a tough year.
It has.
Are things picking up?
I think definitely there's a bit more positivity around, but most people that I've been quoting on this year are just blown away with how much it's going to cost, the renovation. And generally they're either borrowing the money, and interest rates are just too high for them to do it, so it's been rather slow.
What about next year?
I definitely think things are going to pick up.
That was Karen Morrison, owner and project manager at Love Renos, who's been seeing positive signs. Now, while I was talking to home show visitors, Alexia was looking at the mood of business owners.
So my name's Rowan Powell, and I'm from A1 Garage Doors in Auckland.
What's the year been like for you guys?
It's been an incredibly tough year, 2024. April, we figured out that there was a recession. It actually started in October last year. Took us that time to figure it all out, but then you hold on to every penny you got, and you get through basically. So hopefully there's a bit of a glimmer of hope out there with interest rates coming down, but really what's happened is all the investors who were spending money and had projects, they've all frightened, and it's going to be interesting to see how long it'll take for them to come back and have confidence again that A, you can spend a bit of money, and then B, will someone raise the interest rates again, and that's confidence. How do you stabilise the whole platform? And the building industry's been rocked, and we're part of that.
Where do you sit in that eco-structure? Because, in a lot of ways you are attached to the new builds, but you also fit into those people doing a little bit of a renovation too.
Yeah, in some ways, you've got to be grateful for what you've got. And 50% of what we do is repair work, and that's held us through. So we'll replace motors and we'll repair your garage door, and then we'll work with you to try and get the most out of what you've got until you do have to replace. So we're lucky we're not in that new build, and that's where a lot of the companies that are falling over or finding it very tough. So we're grateful for what we've got. Where do we sit in it? Well, a certain proportion of new build, that whole business just doesn't exist anymore. So will that come back, and how quickly that comes back? And I think that's just a matter of sitting tight with the good people we do have in the business still, on the reduced size of the business we've got. Continue to try and pay our overheads as best we can, get support from the bank as best we can. And you just hope, because good times will come. Auckland's a great place to live. It's I've been here for 25 years. There's been 2 recessions we've been through. This will be the 3rd, but there's since I've been here, there's always been an upside to that, and that'll bounce back. Give it 2 years. I think 2 years. I wouldn't say anyone that says there's confidence now is dreaming, but time will tell. I might be wrong.
Have you guys had to retrench, lay off staff?
Yeah, we're down 25-30% of what we had before COVID. So that's where it's at. I mean, COVID knocks everyone in the service industry around. The government and our leaders are just not in touch with reality. At the same time COVID hit, you had the government put an extra week of sick leave for everyone. Happy birthday, here's some lollies, And I just said, well, how am I going to staff that? So that's an extra cost. Worse for a service business, it's actually less. My staff will ring up on it as a sick day, and then I've got to go in there and actually do their job for them. How to cover that? It's more about my service levels drop. So the government's not there supporting what's happening on the ground, and that was 3.5 years ago with the Labor government, and that's happening again now with finance. What's happening on the ground is investors have totally lost faith and are scared to invest, and the government's just not out there on the pulse doing what's required to get these investors back.
Rowan says the government's too silent on the issue and business needs more confidence that it's going to be supported. For example, does Auckland still have a housing crisis that building and related trades could be working on?
And everybody's there and we're able to actually solve that. We've got heaps of capacity, but no one's investing in the housing capital. Because why? And then so someone's got to be onto that. And that should be our leaders, shouldn't it?
Daryl Grace, the director of decking company Shadow Deck, has a corner booth advertising that his product's been seen on Grand Designs. The builders coming through tell him it's been hard, and he says it is very slow in the market at the moment. But he's been doing okay, possibly because COVID lockdowns made everyone want to improve their outdoor living situations.
Oh, everyone's doing that now, yeah. I mean, you spend a lot of time at home. You might as well have a nice environment. And the first thing they put down is a deck, then there's a pergola, then there's a spa pool or a hot tub, So they're not, and also they're travelling, but, in COVID times they stayed at home and did renovations, if they could get the materials. So it's been okay, but things need to get better.
One of the advantages of coming to a show is the networking opportunities. Daryl's been talking to Graham Rayner from Alfresco Lifestyles, who sells German-designed outdoor furniture.
You never know where working with another company may lead, and it may be somewhere that you wouldn't have been able to get by yourself, and working with somebody else will get you there, as well as getting your name out in other ways as well.
How's your year been?
It has been a bit challenging. We're based in Christchurch, so there's obviously the added cost of coming up somewhere like Auckland for the home show. But overall, people seem to be a lot more confident spending the extra money on things like outdoor furniture. So I think give it a few more months and things will start getting a bit more positive. A lot of people are looking forward to better times, and a lot of people are more hesitant to spend, I guess, unnecessary money as well. But I do believe there's still people out there willing to spend the extra money for quality.
What do you see for 2025? Everyone's saying that survive till 25 is the key.
I still believe it's survive until 2025. And I think once we get there, people are going to be a lot more confident. It's going to be summertime, everybody's going to be out enjoying themselves, and I think in general the sun makes people a lot more positive. These dark, gloomy days of winter, nobody really wants to be outside or go to places in the cold, the rain, the darkness. So yeah, I think that'll play a part in things as well.
On to the creative kitchen stand and a word with designer Dawn Lee Oberdries. Everybody here today has said it's been a tough year. Have you guys experienced that as well?
Oh yeah, the last 18 months has been really tough. Absolutely, yeah. But we've noticed a change, and I think that there's a lot of that is their resilience, or I guess accepting how it is. This time last year, when at the home show, there was a lot of renovation, but now we've actually noticed there's a lot of new build. You know, I think that the renovation market was last year. Now it's new build. People are just like committing now and just saying we've just got to get on with it. Yeah.
Well, in spite of the conditions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's helping that, do you think?
Maybe it's just the process of time. They've just realised that they've actually really just got to commit now. I think also that they've realised that even renovation, the cost of renovation is so extreme. You know, just the labour cost and the cost of the product. And sometimes the whole return on that investment is that actually they get what they want in a new home.
And what are people telling you as they come through in terms of their ability to buy something?
Well, I think that they really know what they're wanting. They're not necessarily tyre kickers like they have been in the past.
Vincent Sanders handles the architecture for Christchurch-based Bespoke Architecture. He says it's been an interesting year.
I was quite nervous at the end of last year with how things were going. We had a huge boom over 22. And in our office we had about 109 projects on the go at one time.
109?
Yeah, well, we're a very effective business. And it peeled off to around about 35 at one point. We're averaging now about 41 to 45 homes at any one time. But there's a big difference in the types of clients that we have now as opposed to in 22. So in 22 there was a lot more of, I guess you'd call the first home market and the standard sort of home designs that were happening. Obviously that's been really affected by what's happened in the economy, but in saying that, there's still people building, and so our average home build was probably around about that $850,000, whereas now our average build is up around probably 1.25 to 1.5 million.
It's a reflection of the huge increase in materials, I presume.
Partially it's the material cost, but it's also, I think there's a lot of wealthier people out there who are seeing that there's some good deals in the market and it's a great time to build. You know, obviously there are some people who are distressed in the market, selling properties a bit cheaper. Some building material costs have come down, and I think a lot of people have seen that there's an opportunity in that. But equally too, I think a lot of it has to do with how you've operated your business over the last few years, and we've really had a big push on quality and the level of service that we provide. And so we probably haven't been as affected by the downturn as everybody else, because we've been very consistent with the quality of the work that we produce.
What's your feeling with people coming around in terms of whether there is a light at the end of this recession tunnel, or are people just looking and not buying?
Well, firstly, I think that one thing that people miss out in understanding is that money always has to go to work and money always has to find a home. And if you've got money sitting in the bank, all it's doing is devaluing on a daily basis. So there are a lot of people that I've talked to since yesterday who recognise that and do actually want to get a move on and get things done, because, I mean, today's the cheapest day you're going to build. That's the cold hard reality of it. It's a big mix of people in terms of what they're wanting to achieve. For some people at the moment, building a new house is outside of their potential, so they're looking at renovating. But you know, one client's looking at doing a $2 million reno on a house they're about to buy. So, it's quite a wide open market out there. We've just talked to people about tiny homes as well. So it's a big spread, and a very interesting spread. I think overall, things are slowly getting better for some people. For other people, it's still a bit of tough times ahead. Yeah, it's just a very weird scenario that we're in at the moment. We've come off the back of a lot of very, very cheap money, and I think a lot of people had the erroneous idea that that it was going to be forever. It is tough, but it is getting better, and I think 2025 is going to be a pretty good year for a lot of New Zealanders.
In the long term, it'll bounce back, and it should come up to a certain extent. And without being selfish, high interest rates are good for people that's got no mortgage but have got savings.
100%, yes.
Yeah.
So you're in a position where actually some of this has helped you.
Yes.
Okay. In your financial position, it's probably a little bit different, but have you made changes based on what's going on economically, or are you just kind of like, this is what we want, we're going to do it?
No, you've got to remember that I'm not the decision maker, and in her world, she doesn't care what it costs. This is what I want you to do, and that's it. And you wake up and, it's happened.
I would say that a lot of people here would love to have anything they could hear, but at the end of the day, a lot of people are struggling. And that's the issue. And that's a lot of it, what we've done, is done over time, because we can't afford it all at once. We'd love to. One crack at it and finish it, but it's been an ongoing thing.
Basically, I'm pretty sassy and just do my needs now, not wants, and live simple, actually really simple. So I think that makes a big difference.
I think people they look at like TV too much and they want all these wonderful things. We can actually do some really awesome stuff and do it at an affordable price.
What other themes have been coming through from your stall holders when you sort of deal with them and, chat to them? What are they saying about what their hope is for the future?
Well, I guess with our interest rates and our the OCR not changing for quite some time, consumers have been hurting. That obviously all rubs off and rolls through into most of the suppliers here. Some of our suppliers here do direct sales and they can measure immediately on the show how well they're doing, and others are a longer term project. They could be a house builder or windows and doors or a roofing company, and they get hot leads which they then turn into sales. So they might get 3, 6, 9 months worth of work from the Auckland Home Show, and they have no doubt that the people are coming and that they are ready to spend. Some people may be delaying it slightly, but there's absolutely an air of optimism as we move into spring 24. There's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel, and those who continue to market through any downturn are those that survive and come out the other end stronger. I truly believe that.
That's it for today. The Detail is a newsroom production, supported by RNZ and New Zealand On Air. This episode was engineered by Ben Pierce.
Thanks to everyone who talked to us at this year's Home Show, and to Paul Bloomfield for organising our visit. I'm Alexia Russell.
And I'm Gwen McClure. Mā te wā.